Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all having a good day. Okay, stream should be up. Okay. I'm also hoping that the changes on the YouTube side are actually working today and that it's actually giving a 4K stream. Hopefully with not too much of a delay. Terrible. Can't get one video out when he said he'd have it out, but can find time to stream every day. Aw, thank you, Warpcore, for the kind words. I got the Cavort video out. Well, one of them. But I'm just waking up. Figured I'd chat. Well, still 1440 is better than what it was before. Jay, how's it going? I believe we're up on Twitch also. Lonnie, how's it going? Rob, Toxent. Yeah, I think I said on stream yesterday that there's going to be some pretty crazy numbers up on the table. And that ended up being the case. So the DPS numbers, if I pull up the tables here, there is some crazy stuff that happened yesterday. 10 million DPS has been achieved in Hive Space Elite. Jammers, thank you for the 5. Who needs 4K sitting here on your Windows 95 PC watching in 144p? Oh no. So our logical, what market did I break this time? Terrible logical. No, I've had some requests to talk more about market stuff. I haven't talked about it too much recently. I briefly touched on some stuff on the stream yesterday, but it's something people will still ask about. So the honest answer is it's tough, and there's no easy solution. But we'll dive into that more in a little bit. Trouble, thank you. My concern was, as I was recording that, was like, I need to just get a couple of like videos done that I can reference, in that, like in future build videos. So like the skill tree stuff with the Trafalgar, I just need to get an updated skill tree video done that explains like what the different options are out there. Yeah, Lonnie, the Breen with the fall trait's really good. SLB, Mahav, terrible. Dutch GP finishes. Spencer stream starts. Not a bad afternoon. Terrible. Jammers, Wolf of Stowe Street. Oh no. But yeah, in the past couple of days, there's been some development, and I'll give a lot of credit here. Nick seems to be pushing to get everyone running this stuff again. Nick, it feels bad. I feel like just I feel like I've done something wrong to have Nick above me on the table, but Nick's been working hard at it. He deserves it. We'll have to fix that though in the near future. But yeah, for Hive Onslaught, the DPS record is legitimately over 10 million. And what I love the most about this, what I love the most about like the current batch of DPS runs that are being done, like they're in a coordinated setting, of course, with 3-man teams, because the game cannot handle 4 or 5 players in the same map at that performance level. The game stutters and does not like that. So in this MMO, we have had to limit ourselves to 3-player teams for this sort of stuff. But what I love about this is that these are non-uncon builds. The setups that are doing stuff at this extreme high level are basically doing none of the things that all the anti-meta crowd like complain about. Like there's no uncon, there's no Vovin, there's not even type 7s on all of the ships in there. It's really funny. It's fire at will. Yeah, it's fire at will, because the stuff off of the the Kerala is just so incredibly good. So yeah, looking at Cheops around here, 10 million. 2.7 million from the phaser beam arrays, 1.9 million off the broadside beam support trait from the Kerala, 1.6 mil from 3 sacks of the Credence and console. The Terran did 769. Mycelial Lightning from the Disco 3-piece. When you're at that high of a performance level, like you can do the Disco 3-piece plus the competitive engines, or the Disco 3-piece plus in this case the Tholian core, because you don't, for Hive you don't need the competitive rep engines, because like you fly in and there is some movement, but it's not like Infected where you have to zip across the map. Yeah, in fact, there is a video of Cheops run. I don't think Cheops will mind if I show this here. Let me pull up the footage of the 10 mil DPS run here. And let's not have some of that stuff shown. But this is the 10 million DPS run right here. The VOD is posted over in like the builds Discord and so on. But let me skip past the briefing phase. So again, these are 3-player teams. So in this case, it is the DPS and then a left support and a right support. Is like the designations that team is using. But I mean, just the real-time parser was not up on Cheops' end, but I was watching Nick's point of view in Discord, and there's a point here where I'm calling out damn. But yeah, that was 10,026,000 DPS right there. Yeah, no hexa cannons. Like these builds are, it's really funny because it's doing a lot of the things, or it's not doing a lot of the things that people complain about. But yeah, Cheops on his channel is just posting like the run footage of his stuff right now. Yeah, the Kerala is an absolute must-have for this stuff. Now, I do want to note here, like, you would not want to directly copy, like, one of the top-end HSC or ISC builds right now, because they're like, specifically set up for that environment where, you know, there's a team in there supporting them. Like, right now, the top ISC platform is the Damocles, because it's basically the Legendary Avenger with Raider flanking. And then for Hive, the Ariori Juggernaut, that is like the platform that Cheops has shown just absolutely just dumpsters the map. Worth noting, don't build a ship like this for random TFOs and expect 10 mil deeps. Yeah, like this is a build where even if you build it, like you need the team with you. Like, so you need to get, you know, two people that you can play with that are running the builds to work alongside it. But yeah, phaser fire will meta. Crazy times. So Terran Task Force beam array, the 2 narrow angled off the Connie 3, then some sensor linked market's gonna shoot up again. And then Pavan Omni, sensor linked Omni, and then yeah, another sensor linked beam. The sensor linked is entirely because each of those gets you a small amount of crit severity. The mirror angle still has its place. It really depends on what you're doing. If you're, I would say for most people that are still trying to push higher numbers, the mirror angle's, you know, still going to be the thing to go for. You know, because most people don't have access to this sort of team. And of the teams that do exist, like, here's the issue. Okay, so if I pull that run back up here, there can only be 3 people in there. You've got the DPSer and the supports in a Hive. And Infected, it would be DPSer, side DPSer, and then 1 support. So if you can only have 3 people in this sort of run, because the game cannot handle you know, more than that for this level of performance, and we have already, you know, 5-6 people in a voice chat, there's not really room for us to pick up more people, and I don't know who else is doing these sorts of runs right now. It's hard. Like that's another thing too, is don't put together one of these builds, you know, if you, especially if you don't have like a team to play with, because they're specifically like set up for that. Eli's, I guarantee that build has the auger trait, gatekeeping SOB for real. Yeah, that stuff still is funny. Those people logical just have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But it was funny listening to their rambling. Alan, appreciate it. How dare they use meta? Wait, they are not using meta. How dare they? Yeah, jammers, I know. Jeremiah, doing good. Kelbeck, Sora. Yeah, no hex cannons, yeah. If the meta, well, it's just that there's different metas, and that's always been one thing that the meta haters don't understand, is there's a different meta depending on what you're doing. Like if you're doing a tank build, there's a tank meta. What is the most effective set of stuff to use for a tank? If you're doing advanced level runs, then you know your build that you're setting up for advanced is going to be drastically different than what someone does for elite. Like the meta is going to really depend on what it is you're trying to do, and the only overall meta that there is in the game is do damage, because nothing else matters. Like the way that they've designed the game is that you got to kill things to progress through the content. So you know that's the overall meta, is take out your enemies. ISOMAG build, yes. Yeah, Fred. Yeah, Fred. So you need supported runs to get these sort of numbers. You can still, like Jep said, you can push pretty high in pugs. It just, yeah, will not be that high. My team consists of some peeps doing 10k and acting like the objectives have a below. Oh, no. Specifically for team play, yeah. For team play, the Damocles is going to be the top infected ship. For solo, the Mirror Angle, as far as I'm aware, has still not been beaten. I know Canoid's been in the Damocles a bit recently, but I would reckon the Mirror Angle probably still is going to have the lead there with the Type 7s, the hexes, and all that. One major loss of DPS is death, yeah. Cody doing good. Damage equals kills equals less incoming damage equals damages. Yeah. Yeah, so it's just an interesting time. You know, seeing all of the stuff from the past year and a half, you know, really line up, and seeing Fire at Will take the top spots on the table's been interesting. On my end, I can show my run here. So thanks to the team, I was able to go in and get a nice number on my side. So let me pull this up here. So this happened last night, and I've got the video posted in the Discord also if you want to like watch it closer. But yeah, Damocles, sloppy piloting. Nick screwed me over on this first run. I would have beaten Nick had he not dropped the ball on the side. Yeah. Yeah, the second run, I keep overshooting this this transformer a little bit. It's just a matter of me not being used to doing this sort of stuff. Yeah, I got it covered. Don't you worry. I got that in there. Oh yeah, Darthon. There's still clearly some ships that it'd be nice to have in the game. Cryptic and print more ships for new specialization. Full miracle worker science carrier with intel. Yeah. Indeed. Never trust Nick. I know. Shiner, how's it going? So yeah, the DPS stuff is that the high end is achieving some insanely insanely crazy numbers, and it's all without uncon, all without hexacannons, with very few type 7s. It's just an overall funny situation. But again, that is only a part of the game accessible to a very small portion of people. Is the only unfortunate thing. It's interesting to see things pushed to that level, but it's not something you necessarily want to copy one for one. It's going to be such a tight pilot window to get the 5-kilometer broadside beam support on the Cuban gate. Yeah. It's funny how in ISC we are back to the bottleneck being the side nuker again. Absolutely. Absolutely. If we could put that Silic console on other ships, that would help a ton. Yeah. I mean, terrible Mercstar. Okay, so Sora, let's talk about market play. Yeah, so let's look at the exchange here. Nick has got to be the one undercutting my echelons. Those numbers right there, that's a Nick move right there. But yeah, let's talk about the exchange. So there's been, requests for me to talk about, like, how can you actually make EC right now? And the hard reality is that there really is two different paths you can go down. You can give the game your money and buy keys or promo packs when they're available and sell those for EC. That is by far the quickest way for you to see the amount of EC you're looking for, but that's obviously in exchange for your real money. And the second is to give the game your time. And that is something people don't necessarily like to hear. People want there to be an instant way that they can go out and get the 1.5 billion EC that they need to get the ship they want. And that does not exist. If you perhaps find some very niche method that allows you to do it one time, you're not likely going to be able to repeat it. And as soon as other people start to learn of it, which, believe me, will happen very quickly, it's done. Like, in the event you ever find like some quick way, it ain't gonna last long, especially if you talk about it. Grind Tour the Galaxy. Yeah, so your baseline ways of getting EC for free. Endeavor system, that is something, if you're doing all your daily endeavors, like, that does add up. Admiralty can add up if you're doing like Ferengi or the Klingon. I believe both of those can net a little bit of EC over time, especially if you're doing it on a lot of characters. Those are like the two, or some of the baseline ones. Tour of the Galaxy, of course, is a very slow thing that you can do that, does get you EC. But when you want to start to actually get involved with the market, at a baseline level, let me pull up my 0 EC to 2 bill video. Hold on. 0 to 2 bill. Hold on. I'm going to have to open up my YouTube dashboard and manually get this here. YouTube Studio, content, videos, filter, visibility, members. Where is this video? Yep, okay. So, yeah, this is like a members only video I did a couple years ago. I did a challenge for myself of going from 0 EC to 2 billion. And the method that I did basically worked for me and would not work for anyone trying to repeat it, even probably myself. But the things you can do to start off, like, that are accessible to everyone. Once you have a little bit of like starting capital from like endeavors, Admiralty, Tour of the Galaxy, some basic market stuff you can do is to find things from vendors that people are traditionally too lazy to go and get themselves. The biggest example of that is bridge officer abilities. Like, if I go and I look up, say, no, let's do science tractor beam. Yeah, what does the tractor beam 1 go for? Okay. The cheapest tractor beam 1 on the exchange is 145,000 EC. Do you know what that cost at a bridge officer vendor? Uh, you know what that cost at the vendor here? I see what you're saying, Mav. I've talked about it in videos before. So the 250 EC. So that is like a baseline thing that you can do that will help you get started, because there are a lot of people who, I mean, just they either don't know that they can go over to the vendor and buy this stuff for practically nothing, or they're just too lazy to go over there and do it. Like that's basically what you're taking advantage of people that either don't know that there's a vendor that sells this stuff, or that are just too lazy to take their character over there. Then they'd rather spend the EC to save the time. I'm ruining your scam. Exploiting laziness equals profit. Yeah. So that, that's something right there. You can step that up with crafting, because you can get the level 3 of various abilities here, and these don't really cost that much to make. So let me go down to something popular like Intel Override Subsystem Safeties 3. Okay, so all I need to do to get an OSS 3 is to obtain a pad, which is something you can craft yourself, or you can even just go out and buy off the exchange. And these pads here, the personal access display devices, these right now on the market are 160,000 EC per. Now, if I was to go and look up what is the cost of Override Subsystem Safeties 3, so let's do Safeties 3. I mean, right there, that would be 4xing the cost of the pad. So that's just one ability, and there's all these different rep abilities, and there's also like the rank 3 of some of the standard abilities, like beta 3, for instance. Like what is a beta 3 going for right now? Okay, not a dispersal pattern beta 3, an actual. Okay, so the some of those are going to be a little bit cheaper, but if you look around, you're going to find things. Like if I say put up Fire at Will 3, you get the point. Like that is still a lot more than what one of those pads cost. Now, what about crafting the pads themselves? I mean, those take dilithium, so that's up to you to do the math there to figure out if it's worth 200 dilithium per. But that is a way that you could convert some resources over to EC there. They do take a while to craft though, so I would do that on like an alt character. Can these critically hit? No. Yeah, that would add up though, but I mean that is technically something you can do. Yeah, I mean, and that's something you can take advantage of, because not everyone's going to be able to, like, even if I have access to go in and craft some of these abilities, there are some choices that you make in your skill tree that will determine what you have access to go in and do. For instance, you can see here, if I am looking at my science here, I can't on this character craft Gravwell 3, Ox to Sift 3, Fire at Will 3. Like, if you know what most people do with their skill tree, and you have some alt characters that are running alternate suboptimal skill trees just to have these crafting unlocks, then that is something you could take advantage of to craft these abilities that most people don't have access to. Now, not all of these really matter, but that is something to keep in mind. Check mail. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, I got exchange sale expired there. Morphe, how's it going? Dan? Spectre? Logical. But yeah, I mean that's like probably one of the most baseline beginner things you can do market wise. Is take advantage of like the bridge officer abilities, like the things that people don't want to go and get from the vendor. Another beginner level thing that you can do market wise is, you know, just look at you know, the batteries. Like batteries here, you know, for instance, the advanced energy amplifiers, what are those going for? Energy amplifiers. A stack of 20 is 200,000 EC. So I don't know how well those sell, but you know, that's the sort of stuff, like if you have a lot of crafting materials, like you could potentially be going in and, you know, using those to craft things that you can then sell. Tribble needs to be restarted, so yeah, it's unfortunately going to be like that for a little bit. Okay, let me get those keys into the bank here, and I'm going to go to a different character. Nice, Linus. Yeah, and like as you want to go in and start moving up, like you can, you know, do different types of crafting. That you know, legitimately is something that you can do to go in and farm yourself a nice bit of EC. Like the advanced engineering consoles, like, you know, it's a bit of work, but if you wanted, I would not re-engineer them. But what I would say you could do is you could obtain the ISOMAG like parts here. What is it? What are the parts called? I got them right here. Isomagnetic. So here's the coils, and a stack of those are basically selling at 300,000 per unit right now, and you'd have to do the math there. But if you were to go in and, you know, pick those up and use them to craft consoles, you, like, if you get lucky, you're probably gonna make a nice chunk there. Yeah, it's really a matter of lucking out on getting a phaser one. Let's see how my luck is here. And by the way, if you're doing this stuff, definitely use the crafting, at least the remaining functional crafting keybinds that I showed in a video a long time ago. Okay, so I got completely screwed on that set of 6 that I just started. But, you know, going in and doing that sort of stuff, that could net you a nice chunk there, because the isomags, you know, if I look up here, phaser, like if you get any that are for a main damage type, or even beams or cannons, there's going to be some sort of value. Yeah. Nathan, how's it going? Now, I want to also give a shout out to another thing you can do that still to this day is like one of the best long-term EC acquisition methods. So let me pull up the video that I have here. This is a video that I released back in 2018, and it's a perfect example of a video not being packaged perfectly. Like the thumbnail on it sucks, you know, stuff like that. But I did a video back in 2018 making EC in Star Trek Online, and it was part 2 contraband. And, you know, basically the idea is here, you go in and you buy a bunch of contraband, you distribute it between your characters, you keep your characters near a security officer, and you do a turn in each day, and you probably do like some Admiralty missions at the same time on each of those characters, and you're getting a ton of dilithium. You're going to be getting some EC from the Admiralty missions also. But like the contraband side of it that I focused on here, like that that really does have a great return over time. It takes time. Like that, this is a process that will take you months to go through each cycle. But this is something that I used to do back in the day, and let's see here. I would basically be going in and where is the math here? Yeah, this was back when Dilda's End was 271. Man, things have changed. But I'd basically be going in and like 2 to 4xing my initial EC investment. Just going in, buying the contraband, running it through the characters, getting the dilithium, converting that dilithium to Zen, and then buying like keys or promo packs. Now, if you're smart, you go for promo packs, but most people, the vast majority of people are impatient and will just go for keys, which means that they are taking a slightly lower return. What's Disruptor like at the moment? Disruptor's fine, but Phaser is at a really big lead right now. Oh, you mean Disruptor Isomags? Okay. Sorry. Brain fart. Disruptor Isomags are 3 million. Little over 3. But yeah, the contraband stuff, anyone that's been doing that for the past, several years, like that's still been an effective way to go in, take EC, and do some work to convert it to Dill, to then get yourself some Zen that you can use to get more EC, or to get things that you want. Doesn't help when 90% of the good ships are in the Infinity box and not the promo one. Yeah, the promotional ship boxes themselves have definitely decreased in value over time. Like most of the really strong ship offerings seem to be Infinity lockbox nowadays. So plasma isn't as good as phaser for damage. It depends on what you're doing. If you're doing a fire at will setup, then phaser's most certainly going to be the best. If you're doing like a CSV setup, like it's gonna depend on what you're doing, but it's either gonna be rainbow or plasma. Plasma is still really good if you have targets you're going against that are heavily shielded. Especially for like random elite situations, like because that dot is just persisting on them doing shield pen damage, plasma is still an extremely solid option for just like normal gameplay in like random elites. Yeah. And then, as you move up to higher market stuff, there is always the, keep an eye on things that, people might, misprice. The sections of the market that get a lot of attention, like lockbox keys, ships. Every now and then, someone misses a zero. And that is something you can take advantage of. The off packs are another really popular thing, but they, duty officer packs, stripping those open, those are extremely time intensive, and you have to, like, you need to have like the stoic you open at the same time. You need to be looking up like what are the valuable DOFs from this DOF pack before you go through and make a purchase. Dan, thank you for the super chat and the bits there. But yeah, DOF packs, especially like Delta fleet support, can do really well. Delta Alliance, Delta Alliance can get a nice return. Fleet support can also net a nice return. But those require a lot of work, and you basically you want to be opening those DOF packs on characters that have like 500, the 500 DOF cap, and yeah, it's just a lot of work to go through and do the DOF pack opening. It can be extremely beneficial to go through and do that. Like you can make yourself a lot there. It's very profitable in some situations, but it is also a gamble. For instance, if I do the Borg DOF packs, there's a chance I'm gonna get 27. Like it's a 1 out of 45 chance, but there's also a a very strong chance that I'll get one of the like 30 or so doffs in there that are worth almost nothing. Yeah, and the Borg Doff market I feel is starting to get a bit too saturated, so I probably would steer clear of Borg. And if I was doing Doff packs right now, I would either, honestly, for most people, even though the market was a little flooded there, I'd probably still just do Delta Alliance. Like Delta Alliance, going for like Scramble Fighters, any of the crit Doffs, I think that's still going to be good. Terrible Chiaps. Chaps, I'm wearing like one of the 3 shirts that I've worn on stream in the past like 2 or 3 weeks, and it's because it's one of the few that doesn't look terrible on camera. Yeah. Dude, off packs also have pity mechanics like lockbox? No, not that I'm aware of. Pretora, nice. Would I say it's a 1-1 trade for promo boxes or for the ship boxes? No. Generally, the promo boxes, due to the rarity, which is entirely because of the FOMO approach Cryptic has to selling them, where they're only available in the store during limited time events throughout the year. Because of that, there's still often a premium. I mean, Chops, it was ran through the washer, so I didn't really worry about that. Terrible. Yeah, the Borg packs are just too risky nowadays. I think if I was doing anything Borg-wise, it would be opening the Borg lockbox and then selling the Doff packs. Like, I feel like you're going to get a decent return doing that, but that's still a lot of gambling. Like, as you get towards some of the higher level market stuff, like Doff packs, lockboxes, like, you can get EC from those. And yes, even from opening lockboxes, if you're opening a large enough quantity, it is possible to actually profit from a lockbox opening or stuff like that, but you have to be doing a really large opening. Like, the thing is, I'll say like 50 keys, and that's $50, but in the grand scheme of things, like we're talking, you need to be opening several hundred lockboxes at a time to really be getting the RNG and the large lot of items that you could potentially like really start to actually turn a profit from. It's possible. It's possible, but you need to be opening lock boxes in numbers that are well above what most people are even thinking of. Most people will think like 50 to 100 lock boxes is a lot, and if I tell you, go open like 700-800, you're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. And I honestly, that's probably like, if you're doing market play and you're trying to open lock boxes, you want to be going in with like several billion worth of keys at a time, in my opinion. People ain't gonna like hearing it, but you need EC to make EC. Yeah. Another thing is too, is whenever there's a new release in the game, especially a new lockbox, like, you need to know, like, immediately, basically, like how good or bad an item is going to be. And you sort of have to make that determination on your own. You can follow places like the Builds Discord. There is new content Theorycraft down here, which, if you're a market player, like, if you're wanting to stay in touch with what new stuff is good or bad, like paying attention to places like that is good. But, sometimes if you're waiting to see what the determination is in there, you're probably already behind people that are already hitting the market. Like, you need to, that's one thing with market play, is that there's a lot of things where it's going to be like, your capability is going to be determined on what knowledge you already have on hand. And like, if something drops and you're waiting for others to determine if it's good or bad, like, you're going to be behind the curve a little bit. Yeah. Chiap's 10 mil run had Delta Prime Starship trait. It's a good trait. Terrible. Yeah, but that's like explicitly for like the supports. That doesn't. We're not Delta Prime. Like, if someone's doing a support build, they probably already have that. Yeah, logical. It really is a good point there. Like, this here, I just lost it. People ain't gonna like hearing it, but you need EC to make EC. Don't buy one Borgdorf if you only have 75 mil EC for one pack, yeah. Because there's there's such a high chance you're gonna get something worth almost nothing. Like, some of those Borgdorfs you can't even give away. Because they're so worthless. Does Supreme Leader have his coffee or favorite drink on with him on stream? I haven't had a coffee in a while. Yeah, the dill exchange has started to slow down again. Is it a good thing to just sell lockboxes? Yeah, some of those older lockboxes, there's no new supply of them, so that's perfectly viable. Get something easy and common like the recent Herald traits. Some folks love them, so they went from 10k to few mil sales, but then got flooded and back down to 10k. Yeah. Once it's mentioned on CasualSAB stream, it's over and you need to find something new. Am I ever going to make merch? Yes. There's a merch concept that I have shown to a few people. You know, I do want to, you know, just have something that's got like terrible on it and probably like you know, howdy folks. But there is one that I thought was a little bit funnier, and I don't want to do like I was sitting in the car the other day, waiting for the nephew to get out of one of his appointments with my mom, and yeah, I'm gonna be terrible and show the AI generated version. Hold on, Chat GPT. The issue is I could never like sell this as like the AI version. So here we go. You guys ready for this? I can't do that. That's entirely AI. But I was just like, I want to see what this concept looks like. The children yearn for the dill mines. That was like entirely a concept thing, and I would not sell that because it's like AI. But yeah. The children yearn for the dill mines. Yeah, for the merch services, I'll probably just use the one that's like partnered right in with YouTube, where I just basically give them like the files and they'll just slap it onto like a coffee cup or whatever you want. Yeah, they're not prepared. Top tier. Yeah. I figured that there's a couple like inside joke things that I can, you know, put on some merch that people like. But I thought I thought that one there with you know, the children yearn for the dill mines would be funny. I also I can't use like Star Trek stuff. Like, well, I can. I don't want to push anything too far there because I don't have like any copyright, you know, privileges. So I got to keep things a bit more generic. What do I think about the Tholian 3-piece since the Tholian Omni can go alongside Pavin? We are currently not allowing the Omni on the table for runs that we have to approve. Need a T that says what's the meta? Star Trek on lean should be on something. Oh no. The Breakfast Club is a movie, Dan. The Breakfast Club is the it's a movie. Terrible. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Elite Jeffrey. I've seen you type that a couple times now. Yes, there are some DOF missions you can do also. you know, to get stuff like Jevonite. And Jevonite, look, I love Jevonite. I love, especially a prototype ablative Jevonite. That is something that I use all the time for my runs. And let me see what that's at right now, so I can grab some before more people go and buy it. Prototype ablative. I love my prototype ablative Jevonite hardpoints. I love them. Like with these, it gives me such a nice boost to my hull capacity. Like I've went through a couple times, and whenever I see the market under like 100k, I'll go through and like clear it out. But I think I've got a few on me right now. So not gonna go too crazy today. I've got, yeah, like 8 stacks in the bank now. I've got more here, and I know I've got a boatload more on an alt somewhere. Yeah. Is it viable? Terrible. Okay, let's go. What character am I opening on today? Poor Lockbox Gambler. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the market stuff is, it's going to take time, or it's going to be a big gamble. Like that's how it goes. Is it's either slow and steady, or it's something risky that, like, you're either going to make your money back on, or you're going to lose your money. So tis a gamble. It's a gamble all the way down. Where the hell is my account bank here? There we go. Big money. Aw. Got some more VIP claims though, so thank you for the gamble. I appreciate that. I am not aware of that issue really being on PC. Even when I have my game sound on, I normally play with the game sound off. But yeah, the latter part is part of the point. Yeah, it's, I prefer the quieter hubs. I like the quiet. That's part of the benefit. Skylar, howdy. You are dismissed going up in price, and it's still, yeah, I think that needs a bit more. I feel like you are dismissed is people just not understanding just how good it can be. Yeah. Oh boy. Let me go see what the kiddos want. Be right back. Terrible. Okay. I'm being gaslit into being told the internet is off right now. The internet, I mean, y'all are hearing me, so. Oh, I bet it's because I hit the kill switch on the computer out there. I bet that's it. We've got a thing here with the computer on the living room. It's on one of the things where we can turn it on or off remotely. Oops, it was off. I wish there was a mega carrier ship with 4 hangar bays. For the sake of server performance, I am glad that there's not. I don't think the server, the game would take that very well. That was not nice. Terrible. He did go market manipulate off camera, didn't he? Terrible. Need me to do some carrier content to boost sales on hangar consoles? I I feel like if I like when I get around to doing carrier stuff, it's gonna be like this sort of sucks. um, I need to not have that mentality of, you know, just because something only does 1,000,000 DPS instead of 2,000,000, that doesn't automatically mean that it sucks. I've got that problem sometimes of me having access to all the toys makes me very negatively view some of the suboptimal options. 5 of those on an ISE. I mean, the game can't handle 5 people in an ISE. Terrible. Okay. Um, let's go. I saw that my echelon was undercut over here. But yeah, I mean, you know, some other market stuff, like once you have enough EC, you know, going in and looking for, you know, ships and stuff that people have priced too low. You know, buy that stuff up and then flip it later on. Like, you know, sometimes there will be a new lockbox ship and you'll briefly see that, you know, they drop down to maybe 1,000,000, or not 1,000,000, 1,billion, or right under, you know, and grabbing some of those to sell later on can be profitable if the ship is good enough. You know, sometimes there's some ships that are just never going to sell high, like the Breen Kethsar. Like, even though that's a really solid little platform, like it's just not good enough for the average person. Like, it's not good enough compared to the other options out there. But yeah, I mean, like there are some newer ships that have dropped, like the Harmony that came out. Like, if you grab that and uh, flip that later on, like you probably were able to make a little bit of EC. You know, just paying attention to the overall market and finding when someone puts up a cheap ship and then snapping it up to flip, that can make you some EC. The thing is, just understand that it takes time. Like, even when you're posting a lockbox ship, it's going to take potentially weeks to sell. Some of these ships, especially if it's not like a popular meta ship, they will take a very long time to sell quite often. Yeah. Terrible chaps. Liptak, how's it going? Kapla? Yeah. Yeah, that's fair also, Sam. Is like 1,000,000 for a do build. I mean, I feel bad doing 2,000,000 with a do build right now. But yeah, going in with a carrier build that's doing 1,000,000, to me that feels like, it feels terrible. But for a lot of people, that's still gonna be like, you know, that's still like an amazing number. I mean, Borg Juggernauts, you have to look at, if there's a bunch of ships that are really cheap, you have to do some investigation on your side and figure out, okay, why are these cheap? And for the Borg Juggernaut, it's because people open the Borg lockbox to get the Borg Doffs. So the Borg Juggernaut is a secondary, uh, you know, secondary reward from that box, because the main thing people want is the Doff packs. It's a byproduct. Um, let's see. That is sort of funny to see right here. Orion Orchids, someone had picked up some promo ship packs, and they ended up choosing the Orion Orchid for some reason, 3 of them, and now they're stuck with them on the market. The Orion Orchid, it's not a bad ship, it's just that, like, it's basically a worse Terran Hydra from what I remember, and like the console off of it, like the value for that is for tanking, survivability. It was just, it's one of those classic cases of the overall package not really aligning super well. Nathan, is there a way to check DPS in the game? Um, there is like a built-in parser, but it's very tedious to use. You're going to be much better off using one of the third-party ones if you're on PC. And if you're on console, you're pretty much SOL. You can basically time patrols, time your completion time over there to get an estimate of your DPS, but they're very rough. Promo ships listed at 1.3 bill and a platform nobody wants. Somebody made a poor decision. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you're on PC, you definitely just want to use a third-party parser. Is there an in-game record or record? Yeah, let me pull that up here. So those are pinned in the general thing on the builds Discord. So the Stowe general channel here, if you go to pin messages, the third one here from Cthulhu has the full set of commands. These suck to use, and if you're on PC, you're gonna have a lot easier time, much easier going through and using Oscar, CLA, whatever. Like, this built-in combat parser is complete garbage. Like it's just not really going to give you a good idea of what you're doing compared to the other stuff. Terrible. Boomer doesn't remember her password. Terrible. CLA gives better information, yeah. Built in, you mean for like video recorder? You can do demo record, but that's not really gonna be good enough for like what you'd need for like a DPS. You have to show your run for a DPS record. I don't know. You probably mistyped your password so many times it now wants your actual Microsoft password. Yeah. Yeah, but I'll show the in-game parser because that's popped up here. So let's see how great it is. Supremely irritated, yes. Yeah, you should be doing like the best thing you can do for recording videos is to get OBS. OBS is completely free software. That you can go in and set up. Like completely free, Windows, Linux, whatever OS you're on, basically like OBS is going to be there. It's open. It's an open project. Great, free open source. Let's go do a Japori. I'm going to do a Japori and I'm going to use the in-game combat parser. And I'm also going to have my Oscar running at the same time. So let me get my chat window moved up here. And we are going to look at the capabilities of the built-in parser against the external ones that are widely used by the community. Any guesses as to when the Ethereum lockbox stuff will be put into the Infinity lockbox? No idea. Probably sometime next year. The Breeding Courier was like 800 mil. Is there any news about an incoming lockbox revamp? None. None at all. I reckon the devs are doing something, you know, big for Star Trek's 60th anniversary, you know, next month, because they've been very quiet recently, or at least it feels like it. Feels like the past couple weeks things have gotten a lot quieter. Okay, so I'm going to do my combat log one here. So this is starting up my normal, you know, external parser. Um, I just do display capture. But yeah, I'm going to do GCL combat stat init 1. This is going to turn on the built-in combat parser, and we are going to see how wonderful this is. So the built-in combat parser is on. I'm going to again retype that command. You saw I put it in. And I'm just going to go in here. I'm not on like an optimized build for doing just normal content, but we are going to roll with it here. So let's get these enemies taken out. Yeah, I'm extremely cynical about the faded lockbox revamp. Yeah. For sure. And not the best run of this, but whatever. We are just here to demonstrate the parse. And let's get over to the last group here. There we go. So that was 34 seconds, pretty slow. Let's get the actual thing up here on Oscar. So analyze. Of course, I'm on an old version of Oscar here, and it, of course, messed up. Let's see here. Yeah, I was running the Disco 3-piece. So you can see all my info here. Now, I'm going to go back in game, and I'm going to put in the GCL combat stats data 111, which should show me everything. And we are going to look at what the built-in in-game parser shows. So, slash combat stat no data. I turned it on. Let's change it to only show players and enemies. Did that work? Okay. We're going to do that again. Another patrol. Let's go. Any ideas on when the next Phoenix event will be? I have no idea. If you do combat log 0, it wipes the data. So if you do the command to turn off the built-in parser, it will wipe the data. So I will I'll go to another patrol here. Let's do Karaya. Yeah, there we go, Karaya. Terrible. There shouldn't be like a spam of commercials, like the YouTube. Let me look at it here. Stream settings, edit, monetization. Like it's set at like the lowest possible setting, so as few commercials as possible. Yeah, the agony redistributor is fine. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to re-enter the command to start that up, which is GCL combat stat init 1. Again, you guys can see it right here. This is turning on the in-game parser. So I'm going to type that in, GCL combat stat init 1. Now let's go in here, and I'm going to take out the Romulans. There's that group. And this group's almost gone. Last group over here. There we go. So 23 seconds. Now let's do that again. I'm going to try the GCL combat stat data 111. Did that get any data this time around? Nope. Again, it failed to get any data. My console daily I can't do for another like 8 hours. But if I were to go in and look at the run I just did on Oscar here, I can go in and see the full set of data. I'm on an older version of the parser, so it's getting screwed over by some errors that have been fixed by newer versions. But I can go in here, I can look at all the numbers. If I have CLA, I can use that to look at everything also. So CLA, which does not like me dragging it over to this screen here. There we go. My multi-monitor setup here does not play well with this piece of software for whatever reason. It's okay, CLA. You can go over. And it just shot right over to another monitor. I'm having good luck today with technology. Okay. Let's refresh the parse now. It's set for the correct location. But Shine doesn't want to show on stream, yeah. Now we're going to wait for this to load because the combat log file I have is like 1.4 gigs. But yeah, here we go. Outgoing damage, and I can see, I can break down, what I did the damage to with each of the abilities. I can really dive in here, look at the exact numbers of everything. So, like, this is what we can do with, the third-party tools that look at the combat log file. The built-in one in the game doesn't even work right now, as I just showed. Or at least it wasn't working for me. And, yeah, and on console, you're just SOL. There's nothing for console. Aside from, like, guessing the time. Or guessing based on the time. Logical, terrible. Combat, well, this is separate from the normal combat log. Cryptic a couple years ago started to work on an internal parser for the game, but it never got finished. So it's basically, when it does show up, it'll be entirely in text, right in the chat window, and it's just a big bulk lot of data. It's nowhere near as readable as what you're getting from the visuals on the third-party tools that are looking at the external combat log file. Yeah, well, that's really, Jeffrey. It's YouTube on your end not liking what you're doing. Yeah, there's the console parsing assistant. And yeah, it is nice that the Kelvin bundle dropped on console so fast. Okay. What are my options here? Harvest materials ground. That's getting re-rolled. Yeah. Oscar did not exist when they were doing that. Anyone can go through and make their own like a version of Oscar if they want. Like, it's open source. Like, if someone wants to go in and you know, do a different visual on it. You know, for instance, sarcasm detector had come through and was doing some stuff with AI a couple weeks ago. We won't let AI stuff into the main branch of Oscar, but if others want to go in and make their own alternate version, they are, you know, more than welcome to do whatever they want, so long as it doesn't interfere with the main branch. Yes, but Oscar was made years after that attempt in the game. Yeah. But the issue with the math formula is it's not going to be, you know, completely accurate. Like that, there's things on PC like that. There's overkill, for instance, that you're not going to have tracked. And even in that patrol, there can, you know, there can be some variance in the HP. We've seen that quite often. My daily, yeah, I guess I can do Brotherhood. So I needed to get some anti-proton damage on ground. I'm just gonna get the anti-proton duress pistol on, and I'll just do a public queue Brotherhood of the Sword. So let's get that going. Brotherhood of the Sword. There we go. Terrible Cheops. Will I be on the creator build stream, and will I just be showing off Uncon CSV? I will not be on the creator build stream. I think that's, have they announced who's on there? As far as I'm aware, that's like Mara, 1701, Galactic, and I think one of the like the Discord mods is going to be on there. To subjugate Kronos. Unless something's changed. And that's going over the recent like Calvin ships, so.
Remember, you need to deactivate all of the devices together, or else the network will reset them.
Gotcha. Well,
have 15 seconds to disable the other.
It's not like I spoil anything major.
The devices are resetting. Synchronize and try again.
The devices are resetting.
You have 15 seconds to disable the other two Iconian devices simultaneously.
I could have said yes. Like when, you know, when they said they were doing this stream, I just didn't feel like it. Especially with me doing the build channel. Like, I would rather just sort of do my thing there, get my build video out for a ship, and just have that there as lasting content. And you know, that gives other creators an opportunity to be showcased, to show their build knowledge, to show some different things.
Initiate shutdowns at the same time. You have 15 seconds to disable the other two Iconian devices simultaneously. The heralds are activating a new set of devices.
I used to like go in and I'd hit the thing as soon as I got to each area, but now I wait and I let someone else do it. I'll like clear out the enemies here, drop like a agony, and I will just run to like where one of the locations typically is. Like quite often there's one right here. Am I lucky? Did I get one today? Okay, when did that get hit? To my
seconds to disable the other two Iconian devices simultaneously.
I will hit this one.
Rebels are activating a new set of devices. We need to move to the next area.
Well, I was waiting for the rest of the team to be there, you know. Give them an opportunity, you know.
You have 15 seconds to disable the other two iconic
Here, they're both
devices
over there. Okay.
simultaneously.
Oh, this one's... Yeah, this one's resetting once.
The devices are resetting.
Okay, hit that again. Got it.
Shutdowns at the same time. You have 15 seconds to disable the other two Iconian devices simultaneously. A herald leader
There we
is
go.
here. Stop it before it can break into the Great Hall.
Ain't no one got time to hit devices. Terrible. There we go. There be the daily.
The heralds are driven back.
Waiting for AI to take over the NPCs in games.
Chancellor Timpok remains secure in the Great Hall.
Yeah, I mean that's why you guys can hear the sound still, but I cannot hear the game. Like with my audio interface, I have a button on it that I can hit, so the audio track that I'm hearing is different from what you guys hear. And with this, I have it set so, you know, I can turn my microphone on or off right there. The second button will make it so it determines whether or not you guys can hear my browser. The third button is to make it so you guys could hear my Discord if I was in a voice call. And then the fourth is for me for the game sound on or off. Terrible. Yeah, Stowe's not going to integrate that sort of stuff. Always get lost in the fog trying to get to the last boss segment. Hate the fog. Okay. Complete Borg TFOs, restore shields ground. Let's get the anti-proton damage done here quick. Jupiter Station Showdown. But yeah, there's certainly a bit of annoyance with some of the event sounds. I get it. As we were talking tech, can I ask your advice on the prompter I have mentioned? Yeah, I'm using an Elgato prompter. I can tell you that Newer also has a prompter. I don't know how good or bad it is though. But the Elgato prompter, let me pull it up here. Elgato prompter. They also have an XL version. Yeah, so I'm using the Elgato prompter, the top one here. They have an XL one that is a 15.6-inch screen. That is crazy expensive. Also really bad ratings. Newer also has one for $193. Yeah, I mean these work. I can go in and I can use this as a display output, which is what I've got it as right now. Like if I open my display settings, it is display 5 here, and it's, what is it? It is a 1024 by 600 screen running at 60 hertz. Like it's, you wouldn't want a game on it, but like I have like put things on it quite often. And you can every now and then find those prompters on sale. Like when I got mine a couple years ago, it was like $250, but that was also with the like an arm, a low profile arm, and also a light. So Like you should be able to find this for sub 200. The newer option also exists there too if you want an alternative. But I don't know how their software is. That is a grid of screens. Yeah, I've got a few. I've got a few. I think I've shown my setup before. It's a mess right now, but let me desk. Yeah, I don't have the current setup on here. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a current picture of my desk. Skylar, thank you for the $2 super chat. How much video RAM do I recommend? What resolution are you playing at? I definitely would not go for 8 gigs. I think if you're doing 1080p or it depends what games at 1440, you might be able to get away with like a 12 gig. But I would generally try to stick to at least 16 gigs now, which is admittedly not super affordable in the current market, but I feel like 16 gigs is like if you're wanting something that's going to be good for the next like 5 years, I'd want 16 gigs. Dan, thank you for the bits. I appreciate that. Is the prompter's use case for overlaying chat on my screen. So basically, let's say I am going through and I'm doing a video where I've got a script here. Let's say I've got this. This would be like, this is some of the starting script I have for the event campaign recommendations video. If I have this here, I can drag it right onto the prompter. And Dan, again, thank you for the bits. Now I don't want to have this much text on screen because you see what it does right there. It's got that halo on me. But if I had the text a bit smaller, small enough that I could still read it and I perhaps had less on screen, then I can go through here and I can look right at this and say, howdy folks, Spencer here with my recommendations for 2026's Event Campaign 8. As always, chapters to each section will be listed down below. Like that right there. Like I am looking directly at the camera. I've got, the script right there. And, if I had better lighting on right now, I could have more text on the screen. It wouldn't be as much of an issue. But with my lighting situation, if I have, if I have all of the text on screen here, you saw that was quite rough. Like that's a really bad glow around me. But that lets me have the text right there. I've also had the chat, like my chat window with the StreamBot tool I have. I've had this up on there before, but sometimes that adds a bit too much of a glow as well. So I actually have a monitor right above my prompter that I have the chat on right now. Sora, thank you for the bits also. Dan, all the bits. Yeah. But it lets me have the camera positioned right behind the screen basically, because it's just reflecting that bottom screen on that glass. And yeah, the Elgato software does all the conversion to make it look right for me. What is the pistol? It is the Anti-Proton Duress. It is from the Lobi store. Anti-Proton Duress pistol. Do ring lights help with the glow? Yeah, they probably would, but I've got a lot of lighting in here that I could turn on. I have a networking degree, but I am doing a lot of YouTube right now and also taking care of the family. So it varies, but right now definitely a bit more on the YouTube side and dealing with the family. Do ring lights? Yeah, Yeah, definitely. Like if there's a ring light that I had hooked up, don't ask me why there's a random ring light here, but yeah, if I had this on, um, that would probably help. Sometimes he'll use the glow deliberately to hide the fact he's been up 48 hours straight doing deeps runs. Terrible. Okay. Um, yeah. Oh, damn it. Remodulate. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting visual on it, I will say. Terrible. Almost looks like Ronins from Atlantis. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay, I've got an Endeavor perk point. Weapon damage beta ground. I honestly, like, I know I could be doing DSCs to get more progress each day, but I have every endeavor I care about done. So I just am pretty much just doing the daily endeavor task and not worrying about anything else. Yeah.
Janeway's trapped in Transporter Room 1. Go get her!
It's an interesting visual for sure. Okay, restore shields ground. You guys know my favorite area for that. I mean, I do a lot of solo runs every now and then, but not that many. 48 hours straight? Damn. I did not get anything out of those 8 isomag components I had. Terrible. Back in the day, we used to have the ability to like set the quantity to max and also start a crafting project directly with keybinds, but then Cryptic took them away from us. It's the anti-proton duress pistol. It's in the Lobby store. Now, my favorite place to get shields done, Nukara. Yeah. Like, I don't see a need to go in and remove keybinds like that. I mean, you know, speaking purely from an anti-botting perspective, and you guys know how I feel about the botting situation, but like the people that are doing botting stuff will just have like image recognition, and they'll just have it hit the button. Like, it doesn't impact the people that are, you know, automating stuff in that regard. It's only really hurting active players. Yeah, you can certainly do that, but I just, you know, personally, I find it quite immersive to be sitting here in this puddle of acid, this pool of acid, you know, just taking damage. I find it to be the experience. It's an immersive one. Look, I want to showcase that I'm here. I want to showcase that I am here actively of my own will standing in this pool of acid. That I am taking in this submersive experience that the game is offering us. There we go. Didn't even take very long. Jeez, logical. It's for the social experience. It's basically that the dual cannons can proc the Credence to Lithium Transporter console slightly more. It's a very minor difference that only really matters when you're pushing towards millions and millions of DPS numbers. Like if you're under 1 million, it doesn't really matter. I forgot to respond too, or did I? There was a question earlier about the Tholian 3-piece. I think I forgot to respond to it, or did I address it? As I was leaving, the Tholian homeworld, I was just like, did I mention it? Yeah, so I'm going to pull up, regardless, I'm going to pull up a quick picture from Cheops here. Cheops, where did you put it? Beautiful. Yeah, it's not counted in record runs, and if we were to allow it, like it would immediately, you would see every DPS build using the Tholian Omni. This run here was done by Cheops yesterday, or the day before. I don't know, sometime recently, and Cheops was doing the full 4-piece and used the clicky, I believe, to drag all the crystals in towards the final boss for a big burst. But yeah, basically the crystals from the Tholian Omni are critting, and because of that, we're not allowing it right now. We're trying to figure out, if that is actual intended functionality before we do anything. But if we were to allow it, it would immediately result in a massive DPS jump across the board. And yeah, those have been critting apparently since launch. It's just that it just wasn't really getting as much attention until recently. If you trigger Temp Surge, you can force crits on all of the crystals. Terrible. Usually I think with Oscar, the way that we have it set up is it would only block that person. It like if you're using the executor disruptors, like that'll only block you, from what I remember. But yeah, I mean this is quite a lot. So in this run, this is an extreme example, but you can see that Cheops was able to get 2.8 million DPS out of the Tholian Warp Crystals, which accounted for over 50% of his damage. So we are very much going under the assessment right now that is not working as intended, and that is why we're not allowing him. Yeah, like if we were to allow the crystals right now for like infected runs, we would be looking at 5 mil solo, basically. Like Kanoid would have probably put up a 5 mil solo with that stuff, and for like the team based runs, Cheops, what do you think would happen in a team based environment with Tholian Warp Crystals? You did 10 million without them, without the Omni here. What do you think you could do with the Omni? 10-second HSC. Oh, and I don't think I've shown this. Well, this may have popped up in the Discord, but you guys know Nick and his AI fascination. But if you try to upload a parse to the Oscar tables without a video, that like if you're uploading a top of the table parse without a video, you know there's there's this thing you might get from Nick. Terrible. For Cheops, the Tholian Omni would change his 12-second HSE to a 9-second one. Truly terrible. Verified results. Uh, yeah, I mean Nick with his AI stuff. You should see the other one he did. Yeah, this was all totally Nick. Yeah, this is definitely all Nick here. Such a filthy elitist. Takes you 10 seconds to realize that the FO has started. Does Nick happen to work in HR? Yeah. How'd you know? How did you know? How is the Omni doing so much damage? Yeah, it's making under firewall with the crystals are critting. The funny thing is, there was actually a bit of a purge with RNG a couple weeks, couple months ago. We ended up like well, no, I'll pin this one entirely on Nick. Nick went through and purged a lot of people. It's pretty much like our core like group in there at this point. Yeah, Tribble's having issues because it hasn't been restarted. I don't know when it will be restarted. It's not a priority, right now. I legitimately think that they are like super busy on whatever it is they're about to release next month, and like, that this side stuff like that's probably just not going to get attention for a little bit. Looks good. He should pursue a model career. Oh, you guys want to know? I know there was complaints about AI stuff the other day, but guess what? YouTube has started to bake in for creators. YouTube has now started to bake in AI stuff right into their UI. There's Ask Studio, and I asked it, like, I want an idea on video, like what it was going to do for video thumbnails, and like it looked at that mouse video I did, and that this is the sort of stuff it was coming up with. Can I zoom in on it? Not really. Yeah, literally they've now baked in AI thumbnail generation right into YouTube itself. So it's like, how long until they start? What I'm sitting here thinking is, how long until they start just forcing this without people realizing? High supreme, low DPS, yeah. But yeah, I was like, okay, what are new video ideas you have for me? And it's basically looking at comments that people have left under videos to try and figure out, this is stuff people want to see. Dead internet is real, yeah. But yeah, this is entirely baked right into YouTube. See how they always put the CC? Yeah, they always want you in the thumbnail. VidIQ is really egregious about that also. Nick, I was just showing people the AI artwork that you definitely you made. Like the submission verification notice. Another ad. I don't know why you're seeing so many ads. It's got to be like your ad block is screwing with things, because if I go and look here, edit monetization, like the ads are as rare as they can be with those settings. Yeah. Definitely Nick. And look at that one. Look at how much of a gatekeeper Nick is. How does YouTube Premium affect ad revenue? That's good. Like YouTube Premium will give. Now we need the Spencer version with you and the bowl of orange chicken. Terrible. Let me see. Where did I just put my YouTube window? Okay, YouTube Studio. So let me pick a recent video that's done pretty well. So I'm trying to find like a hard-hitting recent video that's got a lot of views. Yeah, here we go. Here is the video I did going over the Omni update. This video was 10,000 views, 1.5k watch hours, made $56. Revenue. And where's the see more? Yeah, here we go. So of that $56, people watching with YouTube Premium accounted for $8.21, or just under 15%. So yeah, the YouTube Premium, like if you're watching with YouTube Premium, the creators you watch are getting a bigger cut than if you'd watched ads. Terrible logical. Yeah. I do appreciate it. How's it compared to subs? Well, that won't show on here. This is purely looking at like the ad revenue on a video. Yeah. Yeah. So the memberships will not show on that tab. Did I show the stream the ISC table? Yeah, at the very start. We were talking about that, and I was like, Nick is like 40k ahead of me. It's just terrible. I have failed. I have failed everyone. Letting the Torp user get ahead of me? Just filthy. Truly, truly terrible. I think that Nick rejection is only going to spur more uploads without videos just to get their own Nick postcard. Yeah, here's the ISC table right now. Cheops has the top at just under 8.2 million. Nick at 7.467. Then I'm there at 7.415. I'm on the way, Nick. I would have had it. I would have had it that run before if that side had went down. I would have had it, Nick. Well, Torps are not beating. No, Torps are not beating. Nick's run here is on the same build as all of us with the phaser fire at will. Wait, did I say Cheops? Damn it. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, Cheops is the top of the HSE table. Michi's got the top of the ISE. I didn't even realize. I did not even realize. Oh no. Yeah, they're very, very similar people, right? Cheops is old enough to be Michi's father. I just realized that. Yeah, very, very same. Very, very similar. He needs coffee, not fully awake. Yeah. Yeah, Cheops is Michi. Well, that's terrible. You could be the dad of every single member of RNG. Terrible Cheops. Torps are beating on console because Ceaseless Momentum. I mean, it's the same on PC where Ceaseless is still impacting the Maelstroms. But torpedoes, like, I would even imagine on console that if there was people pushing energy weapons as hard as on PC, that you would find the energy weapons are ahead. Oh no. What is the path that this discussion has went down? The game has seemingly decided to steal your 80 Phoenix upgrades. Are they like hidden on some random character in your account bank or something? You could shoot torpedoes so fast on console it looks like a beam of torpedoes. Cool. I think energy weapons are still going to do more. Oh no. Have I ever received a copyright infringement strike from YouTube for what? Like, I guess, let me see here. Copyright. Like, I get notified when people use, any of my stuff in a video. Which was funny because I guess I was the first to have a video out or something with the Heritage trailer, so I was getting like things for a while there saying people were copying the Heritage trailer, which was weird because I guess it should have been on the Stowe channel first. Yeah, did they go to your R&D tab? I mean, I've had people copy some of my videos before, and I guess like I've had like audio taken off, claims. Yeah, like I did some videos with some music back in the day, and because of that, like those videos got no like revenue. Yeah, linking to the videos is fine. It basically, like, it would be someone that just takes one of my videos and then re-uploads it to their channel one for one. Like that's where the YouTube system would come in, tell me, and I'd be able to get it removed. Like someone did that with one of my O game videos, and I put the thing in saying delete it. Let's get the stream back on track. More market talk. I mean, I already did the market talk for the most part. Like that stuff pretty much all happened at the beginning of the stream. I don't really have much more to add there. Like it's the market. It's either you put money in or you put time in, and like the time options, like you can do slow stuff like contraband, admiralty, That stuff that's quite reliable, that will get you profit over time, but it takes a lot of work. Um, there's the gamble you can take with DOF packs, but I'll be honest, like I have shown people multiple times that I can go in, make literally billions of EC, like opening a large pile of Delta DOF packs, but that there's a gamble aspect to that. And even if it's an easier DOF opening, like with Deltas sometimes, um, like there's a lot of work that goes into that. And I have interacted with people who go in there, they're really keen to make EC until they have to do that process once. And once they've done that process once of like needing to sort through, several hundred duty officers, sorting through what's worth selling, what's not, they're like, I'm not doing that again. So like it's either, you do some real life work to get money to put into the game, or you're doing work in the game to earn the stuff for free. Yeah, so that's the market summary. There is nothing is free. It takes time, it takes work. There are some things where if you're there at the right time, the right place, you might be able to jump on something and briefly take advantage and get a nice scoop, get a nice bit of EC that way. But those opportunities, there's no way to predict that stuff. If they were predictable, then they wouldn't work. Yeah. Look at the Lexington console for torpedo builds again. Elite Jeffrey, this is stuff that's been like beat to death on PC. Like the torp stuff has pretty much everything with torpedoes has been done 50 different ways on PC, and even with us having the improved performance capabilities that we have on PC, they still come behind range weapons. Not been playing too long, and on your Escort Defiant, your shield and drive unequip themselves, but also get your traits reset each time you fly a different ship. Make sure you're saving your loadouts. Yeah, make sure you are saving loadouts in space, not on ground. Yeah, and you have to be willing to accept that when you're gambling with like DOF packs, is that you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. That there are some people that will see, that they'll get unlucky and their first experience is going to be a hit, and because of that they never try again. And that, sometimes when that happens, it's, that first impression just deterred them from one of the better EC ways, one of the better EC methods. Isn't the Lexington console really low damage by itself too? Yeah, on PC when we parse it, it's quite terrible. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people will misprice items, but that's rare, and like that's gonna be very hard to really take advantage of consistently. So that's not something that you should prioritize as your only way of making EC. Like if your entire way of making EC is hoping, people misprice keys, you're gonna have a rough time, a really rough time. You might strike out once, but it's gonna be painful. Dan, thank you for that. What would be the optimal setup for a forward-facing 5-3 beamboat, full rainbow, one weapon? Broadside. Even though it's 5-3, I'd still be doing broadside with beam rays using the accessories off the Corolla. Even rainbow, because that's going to do a lot for you. Darthon, how's it going? Mispriced items? No. You have no way of knowing who you bought the items from in the vast majority of cases. And as soon as you post that you just bought something at a, at a price, like you're gonna open yourself up to people coming in trying to trick you to send it back to them. Like it's tough. Like there are checks on the exchange. Ever since they added in the commas, a couple years ago, like I don't I don't really find myself having as much I'm trying to find how to word this nicely. If someone messes up on the market with the safeguards that they have in place, that's like if you're someone, playing as a Ferengi, that's they had the opportunity to click off, see the comma, see the price that they were selling the thing at. Like the safeguards are there and they put it there. Like once it goes onto the market, if you didn't take the time to make sure you were posting it at the right price, like that's a tough one. Choose my words wisely, Spencer. Like I've missold things on the exchange before at lower prices. Thankfully, never a ship or anything super valuable. But, the safeguards are in place, and if you didn't take advantage of them, I don't know what to tell you. Like if I go to the exchange right now, and let's say, I've got this isomatic here, this is Drain X, so it's worth basically nothing, okay? Drain X, or here's a phaser resistance one, which is also worthless. This is currently 400,000 DPS, but let's just imagine, that this was something more expensive. As I'm typing, there's commas being added in, okay? There are commas there telling me the price that I'm selling this at. Like, the system is telling me what I am pricing it at there. Like, if you're going through this too fast and you're not paying attention and you misprice something and you hit the button to post, I don't know what to say. And like, let's say I'm selling a stack of items. There's also safeguards in place for that. It says selling 10 items at, for instance, I've got the stack here at 350k. It says selling 10 items at 35,000 energy credits each. Like, imagine if these were keys. You see people go in and misprice keys quite often, and it's because they're just going through it too fast. Like, just slow down. Like, you just put a bunch of money into the game, you bought keys, and now you're running to sell them on the exchange, and you spend all the time, clicking the button to buy them, which we all know takes a little bit of time. You can't take an extra 2 seconds to make sure that the commas are there. Like, but I just look, I've been on both sides of that before, and it's just like the systems are literally in place to prevent you from making that mistake. And it, like, if you go through and still do it, I don't know what to say. The EC, geez. Look, I'm slipping up with my words, okay? Yeah. And once you have EC, it becomes a lot easier to make more EC. Like, terrible logical. I'm just saying, the systems are in place in the game to prevent that. It's not like it was back in the day where those things didn't exist. Like, there was a time where we didn't have these sorts of protections. There was a time where we didn't have, the commas or the thing here necessarily saying, that you're selling X amount of items at this amount of EC each. Like, those didn't always exist, but they do exist now. I'm saying too much here. Terrible. Burying myself deeper and deeper. But yeah, I mean, as you get EC and you start playing the market, start learning some of the cycles that the market goes through. You know, for instance, you know, whenever there's a recruitment event, things that people need to make new characters might shoot up in value. Yeah, like just timing the market. But there's things you just will learn over time as you play the market. Terrible. That'd be interesting. As for market manipulation, that's a bit harder. Market manipulation, find a market where there's not much supply of it, but it's something you know might see an increase in demand later on, and pick up the inventory off the market when it's a bit cheaper, then you know flip it later on. There are some markets too, like you see it quite often, where there'll be a trait that people realize, oh, this is a trait that a lot of people go for. They'll go in, pick it up off the market, you know, clear all the cheap ones out, and then try to raise the floor on the price. Sellers should have to pay EC tax like they do on City of Heroes with Influence. If you list a lot, then you pay a lot in tax. Yeah, that'd be interesting. We call it arbitrage, yeah. I've heard you, Elite Jeffrey. That just run it off missions on DS9. Yes. Yeah. Okay, you know, talking about weapon packs, Sensor Linked is the current flavor right now with all these high-end phaser builds. So let's go take a look here. What character do I have some packs on? Probably Epic Creator Code. Okay, how many do I have here? Just 16. Oh, there's another 20. Let's go through the fun process of opening up some weapon packs. So this is a very fun process. This is... There's a lot of these older systems in STO where the user interface, I mean, just truthfully is really, really quite bad. And that is why you don't see too many bother with some of these things, like opening weapon packs. That's another thing you can do to try and gamble, see if you can pull an Omni, you know, perhaps make some EC, but it's painful. Like the UI here, there's no way to do a bulk open for the entire stack I have, so I have to do all 36 here one by one. And then I'm going to have to do this again to select them as phaser beams in a moment. So this will be a little bit of a trip here, but we're going to open 36 of these and see what I can pull. This is the experience that Cryptic provides for those of us that open lockboxes, is you get to click every single item one by one. There's the entire like lockbox UI and like the choice packs here, like the UI for this needs to be drastically improved. It really is miserable. Yeah, I mean, for instance, one thing that's pissed a lot of people off is because I didn't do like a public broadcast about the echelons last year when they were briefly in the console boxes. Like I barely learned about it myself. Like I was on a character literally going through and trying to open more console packs as they remove the ability. Like there was like there was a lot of uncertainty. There was also like, oh man, are they about to yoink these all back? Like the issue with that is that there's also like, I didn't learn about it until like right as it was about ending. Um, and then there's the risk of, let's say they go back through and pull them. How many people just open lock boxes in hopes of being able to exploit that? Like, and now how many people am I going to be needing to hear, complain back at me about it? It's like, that is very much a lose-lose situation. And it's also, for my standing with the devs, don't think it's very wise on my part to necessarily, promote this thing is majorly bugged, you can get a free ship, I don't even have many echelons left. How do you think I built the engineer out? The echelons essentially funded my ability to build out my engineer and my science up to parity with like a crate build. They don't have a Damocles or an Ariori, but I might fix that. This is why you keep asking for Meister View as you wear them out. Terrible. Okay. Resources used for new build. Yeah. John, how's it going? Don't have permissions to deposit to this fleet bank? Terrible. Gonna have to complain to the management of that fleet. Okay. Now the fun process of going back through and selecting, I want to do all 36 of these as beams. So I gotta do this 34 more times. Yeah, we need more console slots, honestly. I am very much of the opinion that it is time for us to get like a T6X3. Like, give us another Starship trade slot, give us another console slot. We are certainly at a point where I feel like we could use it. Yeah. It is a lot. Unbind IFF, yes. I mean, there's a couple consoles we still need them to unbind. IFF off of the Suliban Silic is one. There's the supplemental subsystems console off of the Gal X. That would also be really good because that's like an OSS style console plus 40 power. Could you imagine that stacked with like Damocles? Like, that'd be crazy. Plus 60 power right there. Almost there. The weapon packs, you can certainly find somewhere you can buy them cheap and make a profit, but it's the opening experience. Like, you're gonna develop repetitive like RSI there, going through doing this stuff. Okay, give me a sensor linked Omni game. I want sensor linked. The issue with these is that these are where sensor linked come from, but there's also these other versions. I got sensor linked Omni. Oh, that is worth a lot. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That is worth a ton. Sensor linked Omni, I want to see what that's at on the market right now. And I got a ton of sensor linked beams there also. There's 5. I got 10 sensor linked beams out of that. That's great. I don't have room for the others right now. Terrible. Okay, time to mail to myself. Spencer. I can't do that while they're in. Tragic. I can't grab them from overflow. Okay. That was a very profitable opening there. 36 packs, and I got 10 sensor linked beam rays plus an Omni. Like I just made a lot. I want to see what that would be on the market. See, weapons. No one ever went broke selling weapons. Yeah. Yeah, let's grab the Omni and also one of those beam rays here. Just see what those are at on the market right now. So sensor linked. And the cheapest sensor linked phaser beam is 7 mil right now. I feel like the price on these will probably go up just when people realize like these are like what are being used at the top end again, is that the price on these will probably go back up, so I'm not going to sell these right now. As for the Omni beam, this is going to be a big number. Unupgraded 500 million, and upgraded the cheapest is 600. Terrible, stanky boy. Made a lot in theory, but you'll hoard them and never sell them. Terrible. Sell some inventory and you'll have space. You want me to sell? What is wrong with you? Why would I sell? That's a filthy word right there. Sell? But I could hoard. Yeah, the Link stuff has the discovery visuals, correct. Oh, absolutely. That'd be worth maxing out for sure. But it might be long enough that I wait to sell this that the price on them will further go up, and that but there might even be an upgrade weekend in between now and then. He already sells himself to Cryptic for Orcheos. Terrible. Oh, I apparently have missed. Oh boy, I feel bad. I don't look at my in-game mail. Oh no, I missed a message from someone. Oh no, from May. I am so sorry. It's a joke. It's the Orion Orchids. The Orion Orchids. I accidentally said Orcheo on the interview with Thomas and Kale. If I could only buy one Zen Store ship for a second account, which would I choose first? Probably the Awani. Yeah, the Awani. Double stuffed Orcheos. Terrible. I want to see what is. Damocles has been getting a bit more attention recently. It's up to 137. What is the Narada at? Narada 1425. What is Credence? 1-5. Trafalgar. Trafalgar 1-4. What about I'm just thinking, what else do I want to check here? I haven't looked at the reef in a while. 144. What about rolled razors? I'm just getting a feel for the ship market. I haven't looked at this stuff in a while. I think so. Malon? You want me to promote the Malon? What? No way. Get the hell out of here. Get out. 375 mil? Hell no. You know what that does right there? What that sort of market manipulation does is every single person that has a T5 box is going to go and pop one right now to put a Malon on the market. That's what that sort of market manipulation does. Terrible. I haven't looked to. I want to see what is the I haven't looked at the Cavort video metrics too much. So that video's 3.2k views on the back end. Let's look at analytics. Good amount of watch time. Picking up subs, comments. Why didn't I go and hit that right there? I see a few questions I'll have to respond to later on. I do want to acknowledge I did see all of the stuff about, you know, people wanted a budget build for the Cavort. That is still going to happen. That is still going to happen. What do I think of a Cavort running AP instead of Disruptor Cannons? They're both equally suboptimal, so that's fine. I think the best approach for the Cavort with a CSV setup would be Rainbow with Twinkling, but AP would be basically as potent as Disruptor. Yeah, budget build for the Cavort is literally just a Rainbow CSV setup, which is what I'll do. Rainbow CSV, because that is budget. It's also, like, highest performance. Did I not look up the Credence? I thought I did. Credence. Yeah, 1.5 for the Credence. Cannon Scattervolley. Well, budget is... Look, Twinkling is a very accessible trait. Obina. Obina's 138. Ugh. I don't know. I'm starting to lose interest in Obina in antimatter interweave with what we're seeing from the GOM 2 console. But let me pull this back up. So Twinkling. I mean, Twinkling is still like really accessible on the exchange. That's from the winter event, which is coming back up. I mean, we're like 3 months out from the winter event, which is crazy to think about. What would be the best of the tier 5 Infinity ships other than the Hirogen? Just basically go into a random pick. Though apparently the Malon, because someone wants to manipulate the Malon market right now. DPS harder? I know, Gibbs, I know. Yeah, the Obina console still does. It just doesn't display it on the tooltip. No, you do use isomags. You just use cannon ones, which are more accessible anyways. So, you would use cannons isomags, which are currently going for 250,000 EC. Nice. No, you know, that's part of what I'm doing with the builds channel is, you know, just trying to show off a couple different ways to build out ships, and I know a lot of them are a bit similar, but I do want to present a variety of options. What are the max ones at? Just under 10. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's a decent price. Yeah, Infamous. I do not use any music in my videos anymore. To be fair, YouTube does provide creators with a library of music that they can incorporate into their videos. And those, for the most part, are going to be safe. Let me show some of that here. You're not going to be able to hear it, but you can go in and find some songs that are completely free. You can also find songs that you can get a rev share for. For instance, if I can, that's a very small list there, YouTube. Thank you. But yeah, there's no cost music, and like you can find some here that are also like revenue share, where basically they'll take half of your revenue, which that's not something I would want to do with what the revenue is on YouTube videos already. But yeah, they have a lot of different things in here. There's also some of them they have where using this would completely remove your monetization. Some here where using them will potentially block your video and its visibility. So let's do no cost music. And this is stuff that, yeah, you could use and still monetize. So that they do have stuff there baked right into YouTube where you can download the tracks and stuff, but it's a bit iffy. There used to be a setting in here where I could look up like that explicitly of, music that would never have an expiring license, but I'm not seeing that all like right now either. It seems that this has already, like in the past week, changed again, which is a little bit annoying. YouTube's been doing a lot of changes recently. Have I ever tried Star Sector? No. I have not really played any other games in recent times, aside from a little bit of Minecraft. This was the niece trying some games on my Steam Deck, and she really liked the game about digging a hole. But the game that I most recently was going to try and play was Drone Sector, because I liked the demo of that when I tried it last year, but I haven't actually gotten around to doing anything with it. It basically is like the when I played it last year, it was like that. You remember the old Call of Duty games where you'd have like the AC-130 you could control and like bombard things. It's basically that, but like a game that is just that, which I was like, perfect. But yeah, No Man's Sky looks good these days. I'm really excited for the new Ace Combat that drops in like 5 weeks. Wow. 4 or 5 weeks, yeah. Is there anyone who hasn't played Minecraft at one point in time or other? Yeah. But yeah, there's new Ace Combat incoming. Space games. I'm just trying to think. What else has there been recently? What have I might have one in my wish list. I don't remember. I don't know. I saw some pop up, and then I was waiting to see what happened with them, and some of them didn't pan out, so I guess I removed a few. Yeah, Minecraft is like the ultimate, like, you just chill. Like, if you're doing it on like creative, it's a matter of you do whatever it is you want. Um, it's basically it's like digital Legos is really the best way to look at Minecraft. I don't know. I outside of like Stowe, what games do I have the most time in recently on Steam? Games. Can I sort by playtime? Yeah, PUBG, Destiny 2, rip that. World of Warships I haven't played since January. They Are Billions I really enjoyed, but that's not going to be for everyone. That's also not space. Yeah, I'm a bit boring. Um, yeah, I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I still haven't played the Mass Effect games. I haven't. Yeah, Just Cause 2. Planetary Annihilation, like this was a fun game because like it's like an RTS with planets. You could have ships going between planets. You could like build a Death Star to destroy other planets. Like it was such a cool concept for an RTS, but I don't know. It always seemed like development was a bit quiet on it. But that was a game I had a ton of fun with. Definitely not the most optimized, but being able to send things between planets and blow up the planets, or like attach a rocket to a moon to descend to go crash into another player's planet, like that was a cool concept. I did play it on a stream once. I don't know, I have a ton of games. I'll probably never play through most of these, but that's just generally how it goes. When you get the thing about PC is you just slowly build up massive libraries of games that you're never going to play. That's the unfortunate reality of all this. Is there's games where it's like, oh man, I got this because it looked cool, and then just never got around to playing it. Time for a Steam machine. Yeah. Homeworld 3. Did I? Oh yeah, I do have Homeworld 3. Yeah, I do have it. Yeah. How much time have I played it? Um, I don't remember how much I got this for. I don't think I spent that much. But yeah, what was the other one? Because this dropped, and then there was Sins of a Solar Empire. Was it? Yeah, I think the home roll dropped, and it like sort of was a bit of a fail, right? But then Sins of a Solar Empire, I think dropped around the same time. I've actually got some playtime on this. Not too much, but yeah, I know there's like mods for these games. Yeah, you can't beat the discounts. Yeah, yeah, and there's compared to console, you've got GOG. Like, I know there's quite a few people that don't use GOG, but guys, like that is one of the few places where if I can get a game like outside of Steam, like I'd prefer for it to be through GOG. GOG has they have the no DRM focus, right? So, and they also like to bring back some really old games, make them playable. Um, like they've got some of the older Star Trek games on here. If you're looking to play, um, some of these older Star Trek games, like that they've got some of these on here, like Elite Force, and they've done work to make sure that these are still playable on modern systems. So GOG, they are like outside of Steam, one of the few places where I will actively go and pay money to get the game. I clearly should play Star Citizen. Yeah, I did see the Star Citizen video, and Hyper, that pretty much has reinforced my entire mindset about Star Citizen, that I do not have faith in it. That stream that they did, which was like a massive cluster, that that was pretty rough. You played most of these since they were gifted to you by a female athlete. Terrible chaps. Yeah, but I mean, these games you can still get them and play them. Star Trek Voyager Elite Force 1, and I think they have 2 on here. Yeah, the two's right next to it. Duh. But yeah, they have a few of them. Yeah, I feel like Nick Nick was on such a streak of hoping for Star Citizen to go somewhere for a while, and it seems like he's finally started to wane off that, and that's been his recent inspiration. It feels like, to do all of these DPS runs again in Stowe, which, you know, credit to Nick for getting things rolling again. Yeah, Star Citizen, I have no interest in. People often ask me about it, and it's just like, man, I could not care less. Look at that. I mentioned the Canon isomags, and this is what I'm talking about with Market, you know, being there at the right time, the right place. I mentioned just a few minutes ago that my Cavort build, my budget Cavort build, is going to be using like a rainbow twinkling light setup with isomags, you know, a couple minutes ago. And one of you had the initiative to go out and pick up the cheap ones on the market. I'm proud of you. You have taken a good lesson from this talk today, and you are probably going to make a nice chunk of EC in a couple days. I'm proud of you, whoever you are. Cavalry. But you're using them. Terrible. I went to sell some ISOs and couldn't believe how cheap they all are. Yeah. How many Malons popped up? Let's find out. I'd laugh. There's like 40 of them. No. Someone's already dropped it back down to 6 mil. No, that's good. I mean, if you sell a T5 ship for 6 mil, I mean, that's still a lot better than some of the others, right? Like some of these others are going for like a mil. Poor Herogen Hunters. 300k. Oh, is there now? Someone went pad crazy. 5 pads are now 180. I mean, that's another thing too, is with all this market stuff is the reason that I'm talking about the market stuff again is because there was a comment on my video the other day. I got to find it here. So CasualSAB videos, members only. Yeah, there was a comment on this video the other day. So the conclusion is that there's not really any way to get EC, and I just wanted to talk about that. So I'm going to ended up talking a bit about this on my Sunday stream VOD here. Let me get the link to the stream here. Yeah, just the part of the conclusion I had from this video is that, especially with like some of the DOF market, is that there's some parts of the market that are just too niche. That there's not enough demand, and as soon as there's more than one person supplying the market's oversaturated. In the case of the DOF that I sold in that video to get up to 2 billion EC, I alone introduced enough supply to the market that I oversaturated it. Like that's a risk you're going to have with some of the really niche solutions, is that you alone, like, it's not even other people coming in and flooding the market. There can be situations where the market is small enough where you alone can crash it. Like you alone can oversaturate it. There will never be T7 ships. The T5 was just someone manipulating the market with the mail on here. The in-game chat channel is CasualSAB. So /channel join CasualSAB. Market's even worse on console due to the player base numbers. Yeah, a lot of the marketplace stuff is not going to perfectly translate over to console because of the smaller player count. There are substantially fewer players on the console versions of the game. Substantially less. There's still enough people over there for you to do content, but you know, I can pop onto pretty much any random instance on PC, and there's going to be a lot more people. Yeah, they won't do T7. Do I think we'll ever get ability pruning? Probably not. I don't see them going back through and like if you're meaning removing like abilities that don't really matter anymore, probably not. Spencer needs to keep playing it down console because he wants them to join PC. Terrible. Six echelons under 30 mil, yeah. I mean, according to some of the statements they've said before, it still sounds like consoles a very sizable number of players, but every time I go over there and like I'm trying to look at the player counts, like there's definitely people over there, but I doubt some of the numbers that I'm that they've given. I think at a minimum, like we've talked about this before, even if you're a console person that doesn't believe me about this, about PC being so much more active, um, like I think it would clearly be beneficial for there to be crossplay at a minimum between the two console platforms. If they would give a transfer option, I'd go to PC and I have a Mac. Oof. I mean, there are ways to play still on some of the newer Macs, from what I understand. Maybe console players don't use hubs like we do. No, their ESD still has the same amount of racial chat going on. Yeah, they got a lot going on over there too. I want to check the market here. What's 24 at? Oof. 26? Wow. Do I have any Fed 26s? Security officer? Terrible. As far as I've seen, the political conversations like that are also on console, at least on PlayStation ESD chat. Finally bought a PC. Yeah. I don't have any 26s on this character that are fed. I gotta look. I think 31 I was doing some Borgdorfs on. Yeah. Most certainly. There's more 24s, but they're all KDF. That doesn't do me any good. Okay, let's check. Wonder Carl Sagan might have opened some Fed ones recently. Nope. Yeah, I don't really visit ESD too much, other than the characters I have just like permanently stationed there. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds familiar. I just remember there being something on the Stowe subreddit at some point about someone saying that they were playing on like an M1 Mac or something. Yeah. Yeah, thankfully Stowe is still, lightweight enough too that even a, computer from like 10 years ago can still handle the game very well. You're just waiting to see what Xbox is going to do with the next gen system. The thing is, I mean, if they're going to dump all the games on Windows anyways, like, to me that puts Xbox in a really weird position because, you can get the Xbox or you could just get a Windows computer, get an Xbox controller, and, just do a similar thing that way. But it sounds like the next Xbox is probably just going to be like a reskinned Windows 11 anyways. 4K gaming, I mean, if you're trying to do Stowe at 4K, it's going to be a bit more resource intensive. You're going to need something a little bit more powerful, but even some, graphics cards from a few gens back, some of the upper ones can probably do it. Yeah, with the current situation of the market, I don't view next gen consoles as being in a great position. There's also the issue of like this is more on the PlayStation side, but that they spent so much time trying to do all these live service titles that they're there's not really many exclusives or single player games to incentivize, like how many games came out for the PS5 gen versus like PS4. um is there a spike in key amounts? Can I take a look? I mean, there was just talk of that in the trading channel. Yeah, there's a lack of keys on the market. This was just being talked about in the trading channel. How many are even PS5 exclusive? I don't know. $1,000 consoles, no physical, no first party titles. Yeah. Yeah, I don't honestly know. Astrobot? I'm gonna look this up. How many PS5 exclusive games are there? What? Is that AI summary from Google right? There's only like there's fewer than 10 true exclusives. How long has the PS5 been out? Do I think we will get the World Razor or Credence First and Muds? Probably World Razor. World Razor's been out longer. So 6 years, and there's been fewer than 10 true exclusives. That Spud, how's it going? That's a rough one. I mean, to me that like removes incentive for that. Someone put two single keys. People do that stuff all the time, all the time. Yeah, people do troll listings like that, hoping someone buys. Um, yeah, logical. Like I've talked about this place before, but um I guess any of you that are looking at PC stuff, Java has been a pretty good place to look at. I keep an eye on there for deals every now and then. In fact, I got two of my monitors from them in the past year or so through a seller on there. Let's see what deals they got today. Yeah, Top Monitor Columbus on there has been pretty good. I've bought from them a couple times over the past year or so. But yeah, that's a good place to keep an eye on if you are looking at PC stuff, especially with the current market. DDR5 is expensive, but you can still get a good DDR4 system that can handle everything still pretty fine. I think it's funny that Halo is now on PS5. Yeah. Oof, Thomas, that's rough. Yeah, crack's still going. Did I give coverage on the Newton? I think in the stats breakdown. Yeah. I am going to be terrible and say that I have never actually played a Halo campaign. And I say this as someone that had an Xbox 360 back in the day, which probably makes some think, what the hell were you doing? Call of Duty Black Ops, Modern Warfare 2 and 3. I was one of those people. I do, however, now, put down the pitchforks for a moment at least. I do have the Master Chief collection, which has like most of the story, right? Halo. Yeah, look, I've got the Master Chief collection. I never did Destiny 1, but I did a lot of Destiny 2. That was a fun game, and it is wild to me that they are giving up on, or that they have given up on Destiny 2 for Marathon. Like, I don't know what was going on with their management that they thought that an extraction shooter was going to carry their studio after Destiny. Like, I do not understand what the thought process was there. I think most of us forget that you are younger than most of us. I only turned 30 this year. I really like Marathon, but yeah. Yeah. Spoiler, there wasn't a thought behind it. Yeah, I turned 30 this year. I know, scary, scary. Yes, there are a lot of you watching right now that are older than my mom. I'm sorry to say that. Meant Concord 2.0. 63 is a form of 30. Turned 30 this October. I'm sorry. Now you're over 50. Terrible. Very ageist, Sab. I'm not meaning to be ageist. I'm sorry. I truly am. Nah, I think Marathon, they're too committed to it right now to let it go. But I mean, let's look at them Steam chart numbers. So here is Stowe right now. We are at about 1,700 people on through Steam. So probably double that after you include Epic and Standalone. But let's look up Marathon. Wow. Wow. There might legitimately be more people playing Star Trek Online right now than Marathon. That's wild to think about. Like, because the majority of people playing Marathon are doing so through Steam. And on, for Stow, that's, there's people on Epic, there's people playing standalone via Arc. That at least doubles the numbers, in my opinion. And then you've got all the people over on console, like, they're legitimately, I think, is more people playing Stow right now than Marathon. That is wild to think about, that it's already gotten to that point. And that's not sustainable, because Marathon, how many hundreds of people are still working on this? Is it like 400 people? Like, the Stow team is like 30, 40 people, somewhere right around there. And there's like 10 times that amount working on this game. Wow. Yeah. Because Bungie let go of like half their studio that was working on Destiny, and they went full in on Marathon. Bungie will be the next studio to go extinct. Like, that is just wild to think about. Imagine the profit margin difference. Well, Marathon, they already said, like, cost a couple $100 million to make, right? Yeah, that is wild. When do I expect the next Muds bundle? I think we were looking at this a week or so back. I think it'd probably be next month. And I would imagine with the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, it's probably going to be, imagine if you're Cryptic, what are you putting in that bundle? Let's pull up the list. Actually, I want to see. Epic create a code. I have the Google sheet named Epic create a code CasualSAB, so I can easily find it. Yeah, let's change this filter here. Or wait, is this already set up for this? It is. Okay, so there's 120. I know there's even less. Hold on. That are still only in lockbox and promo. I guess Lobby should be included here also, because Lobby technically could happen, though I don't think it will. So there's like 41 possible ships that they could be putting into a Muds bundle here. And let's assume, that there's probably going to be a Starfleet focus for a bundle dropping in this, alongside the 60th anniversary of Star Trek. So what does that leave us with? Filter by condition, contains Starfleet. That is a very, very short list. What's the World Razor count as? Hold on. Oh, that's Confederation. Okay. I'll just manually select here. Courier, Alachi, Gorn, Herald. Don't need that. So if they were to do a Federation focused bundle for the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, what could they include here? What would be the biggest value? William? That's a wild one. So William says 60th anniversary bundle, World Razor, Kelvin Connie 2, and then the Constitution 3, all enterprises. When did those all come out? World Razor, beginning 2023. Connie 3, middle 2023. And the Kelvin Connie 2, even though that's a bit more recent, it doesn't matter. That was like a dud release. Could you imagine that bundle? That would make sense. Like that would make sense for a Federation focused bundle that goes up alongside the 60th anniversary. That would legitimately be like a top tier bundle. You can imagine buying it? I'd buy it. And they did. They did accidentally give us the Connie 2 skin recently and they didn't remove it. But why were they even messing with it? Why were they messing with that, at all? Why were they messing with the Connie 2 skin? Hyper, that'd be neat. Voyager A, yeah. I mean, Voyager A would be strong too. What is my favorite bundle? Oof. That's a hard one. What is my actual like favorite Muds bundle right now? I don't know. Like there are some that in theory I should like, but I don't have. Certainly not Carry On My Dreadful. I mean that's just a dreadful bundle, but oof, what have I actually gotten the most use out of? I mean, Into Darkness I like. Dread Through the Ages is also like pretty good. But for ones that I'm actually using on a regular basis, that's tough. That's a tough one. Disco Inferno, yeah, has got some value. But that's really, it's just all about the D7 Ruin. Yeah. I like the variety of ships in Darkness, even though it's not necessarily the meta picks. No, but I mean, if we're talking about like an Enterprise bundle for the 60th, could you imagine this? Like World Razor, Connie 3, the Kelvin Connie 2 in the same bundle would be wild. Would I pick Disco Inferno or Dread Through the Ages? Oof. So Ruin or DPRM? I'd probably go Ruin because I feel like we have more survivability options now to counter or to give us alternatives to DPRM. Whereas with the damage boost of Ruin, there's not anything that really is quite comparable. That would literally just be printing money at that point, yeah. If you only play one character, how valuable are Muds bundles? I mean, if you were going to obtain multiple of the lockbox ships, via putting money into the game, then the Muds bundles still make sense. Can't we stack the Baul console and the Jellyfish? I think so. Yeah, World Razor Trade is top. The Connie 3 has a good console. It's also got the 2 best phaser beams on it. Two of the best. Yeah. The Kelvin Connie 2 doesn't really have much to offer aside from the skin. The console on it can do nice, but it's such a short range. Yeah, indeed logical. Sorry, I'm just responding to a message here quick. Ruin has a cap of 100, which means it only goes up to a 300% Cat 2 damage buff. It turns out 300% Cat 2 is still more than everything else out there. Yeah. You've bought the World Razor 3 times. I've bought it multiple times. But aside from that, I mean, what are the other combos you guys could see for a Fed theme bundle? Like, there was the idea there of a Picard theme bundle. They could also do a Prodigy theme bundle because Protostar, Dauntless 2, what else? Lamar. I mean, that would also do really well, to be honest. Like a Lamar, Dauntless 2, and Protostar bundle would be a banger too, especially with the SEs. Section 31 Intel. I would much rather have the Connie 3 than the Section 31 Intel because the Intel Dread Cruiser isn't that good. It's basically just a 4-4 version of the legendary Galax. Like, you know, it's fine. 4-4 again's not an issue nowadays, but it's still like it's a weaker version of the legendary Galax at the end of the day. Like a Protostar bundle right now with the DSCs, that'd be great. Be able to zip around the galaxy. That could work. I think either of those would be incredibly strong. Don't forget about the Duder stat the trade is slept on. Terrible. The Section 31 Command Heavy Battle Cruiser is already in a bundle. The smaller one, the Dread there is not. Yeah. You know what's amazing is I think we haven't done like a single infected yet, have we? Truly beautiful. Griffin would have to be T5 and boring. Terrible. Red shirt bundle. All ships explode from core breaches. That would be immersive. Well, I have an endeavor here. Complete a Borg TFO. What's the other parts of this set again? Elite Hazard Team body armor. Let's get that cage weapon on, and let's see here. It's the arc welder. Where are you at? You want to know what the great thing is? I didn't say which infected. Infected, ground advanced, public queue. Here we go. Now what? Someone's feeling spicy today? I know. Yeah, so public queue, infected, ground advanced, infected Manus for anyone that wants to join and do something a little bit different. Got to give everyone a minute to unqueue from ISC with that little troll maneuver. Appreciate it. Spencer will be disappointed when he doesn't find an exchange terminal on the infected ground map. Terrible. So I'm just looking at Reddit here quick, seeing if there's anything on the Stowe subreddit today. Does not seem so. I will have really thrown everyone off. Everyone was expecting infected space. I'll not dirty my account and intentionally queue for ground TFO. I know Spencer that Spencer's gonna be in. What? Come on. That's just terrible. Vice, that'd be funny. The sad thing is, if I'd queued for infected space, it would already be over. Nobody wants this infected ground experience. Terrible. Single, you queued? I appreciate it. Five, how's it going? Promise more gambling afterwards and watch it pop? Terrible. No, I'm space poor right now. Quark's Lucky 7 was good. There we go. Pop. Oof. Now we wait. Yeah. I look forward to what they're going to do for the next mission here. How long will the TFO take to lead? Or to load? Yeah. I don't think I've ever played Infected Ground. Really? They need to go through and do like a revamp on these board ground TFOs. Give us elite versions of them. Clean them up a little bit. Like, I think that'd be good. I do think also one of the issues the game has right now with TFOs is there's no unique rewards. I miss the old days where there would be like you'd go in and you'd have a chance to get like a nice drop from a mission or from a TFO. I miss those days. Where's the commanding officer? We'll find him. Don't you worry. We'll clear this out with an agony. Perfectly balanced weapon. Okay, remember to talk to all the people. Good, good, good. Okay. Perfect. This nice classical interior here. Very, very nostalgic. Very nostalgia like for those of us that have been around for a while. I can't put my words together. You guys know how it is. I feel like when I try to say things sometimes, I feel like I've had a stroke or something. It's very nostalgic. Easy for me to say? Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. You're safe. Oh.
Your efforts here are...
The weapon I'm using here is the cage pistol. Wait, why am I needing to do the thing? I got the set on. Terrible. We got this. Yeah, there is a Muds bundle with the Dalkina. It's fine. It's just it does have the sarcophagus in it, which I guess would be interesting for some people. Um, depends what you're trying to do. Yeah, keep talking. Instantly dead. Okay, we gotta hit these consoles around the same time as each other. Okay, hit him. There we go.
The collective brings
Away we go. Hello. We're gonna rescue our guy here. Did I see someone falling over or no? Where's the next person we gotta rescue? It's been so long since I've done this, I don't remember where everyone is. Let's wait for everyone to get in here. I know they already got locked out. No, tragic. Okay. Yeah, that person I think got locked out of the room. Terrible. Okay, we gotta hit these three at the same time. Okay, let's hit it. Okay, they got that. Didn't get the pop up on my end. Yeah, this one you just gotta have the three people hit the stuff at the same time. Then upload the virus. Yeah, the alt fires a ton of DPS, yeah. Yeah. Shit, yours. Okay. Gotta hit these at the same time. There we go.
why do you continue to resist?
I just gotta wait for this enemy to become targetable so we can instantly nuke them.
Become one with us. Join our quest for perfection.
Just instant death. There we go. Good job, everyone. There we have it. I got the endeavor done a different way than normal. Thank you to everyone who joined the queue for that. You're outside of. Yeah, I mean the old Borg ground stuff was fun. It's just very niche. Not everyone's done it. You got rewards for watching through the door. Bless. Terrible. Terrible. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap things up here because this has been a rather long random stream, and I want to get some other stuff done here around the house today. So thank you all for tuning in. I did not expect to do a 3-hour stream today, but we had a nice chat about things. Some casual market manipulation and so on. It was fun. Okay, let's find a target on Twitch. Who do we have streaming right now? Mutara. Cornholio. Mutara's live. I don't know if they've got like a giveaway or anything going on. But let's send people over there. You were hoping for another 4-hour stream? Terrible. Nah, I got to get some stuff done. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to hear from the Ferengi High Council about that, about hoarding and not selling. Terrible. Yeah. Hope you all have a nice day. The raid is out on Twitch. The Twitch stream has stopped. We are now free from Twitch. So to all the YouTube folks, as always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all around.